Hello everyone, it's your host, Get Good Fox, and you know what? I think it's time to review the container fort. Even though, this isn't upgraded yet, we haven't finished the workshop level 3, whatever, doesn't matter. It's all good. So, let's find something to do while we chat about the old container forteroni, and off we go. So, first off, I think I would like to let everyone know there is a new playthrough going on Twitch. It's got some special conditions. It is a quirk skills only playthrough, so stuff like driving, or business, or music. And then to make it even crazier, I decided that I would not use the pyro launcher or the impaler, just to make it even weirder, since I'm not really a quirk skills enthusiast. So yeah, head on over to Twitch, and there's already 2 episodes out, and there will be more episodes going on for the foreseeable future, because it should be a slower playthrough. Anyways, though, let's talk about the container fort. So, container fort, 2 large and 6 small. That is what we have at the basic level, and that is okay. It is kind of the magic number of 8. 8 seems to be sort of like how many facilities you can expect from the typical 8-man or 8-man base. Examples include the, the Whitney Field. It's got 3 large, 5 small, so 3 plus 5 is 8. You've got the lumber mill. Lumber mill also, 5 large, 3 small, 5 plus 3 is 8. You've got the, the farm compound. Not technically an 8-man base, but it's the big base of Trumbull Valley. It's got 4 large and 4 small, which is pretty decent. So the 8's it's just kind of the number, I guess. So, I would say that isn't unusual. Oh, looks like these guys are causing a problem over here. That's fine, I guess. Shut the door on them and give them the cooking. So the, I guess technically it has an appropriate amount of, facilities. At 2 plus 6 is 8. 2 large, 6 small. The problem I have with that, though, is that, I want more than 2 large facilities, so I would say that is the first problem with the container fort right off the bat, is that, it's still a lot of space, don't get me wrong, and, you can do a lot with the container fort, but I just I don't need that many small facilities, and I really would like to have 3 large.
Okay, I'll get you home safe.
That's one of the reasons why I really like Whitney Field, because Whitney Field has the 3 large, and then 5 small is honestly just perfect. Sure, I'll take more. I'll always take more, but since I can't always have more, 5 small, 3 large is really, really good. You can get just about everything you want out of that.
We need an infirmary. We can't stay safe if we're all sick or injured.
Oh yeah, that's right. These are those guys.
See what happens when we work together?
Let's go deliver you off. Very nice. But, so that's the first issue. Now, there are some benefits. So, first off, you've got right here. So, this specific slot, the slot right here, the one that is a buildable slot inside of this is an indoor area, it will always have 8 beds. So, right over here, we can see that there's a built-in barracks with plus 8 beds. That is just a guaranteed effect of the container fort. How good is that? Well, it's the value of 8 times 5, was it 56? Let's just do 8 times 7. Yeah, 56. So that is worth about 56 morale. How good is that? And the reason for that is because anyone who's missing a bed loses 7 morale. So, if you've got 8 beds, well, there you go. And you're not really gaining morale so much as you're blocking a loss of morale. Overall, it's an okay benefit. It's definitely not the end-all, be-all, though. You can definitely play without beds. It's not really that big of a deal. And then you've got the, let me see if we can find the castle doctrine. I'm not sure where it is located. It's in our effects, though. Castle Doctrine. Where are you? Okay, I guess it's under threat. Noise? Where's Castle Doctrine? Does that not exist in this? Did they remove that bonus? So this base is supposed to have a bonus effect called the Castle Doctrine. And the Castle Doctrine is supposed to basically act as a watchtower. It's basically a watchtower equivalent without even having a watchtower. Oh, there it is, Castle Doctrine. Okay, we found it. So right here, Castle Doctrine, 4 armed guards with no cost. So it's basically equal to having 2 watchtowers, but you don't have to pay for them. You don't have to pay the ammo for them. How good is that? I mean, it's a thing, I guess. Once again, like they're not the most out of control bonuses. There's no doubt about it. Like there's definitely better bonuses in the game. So what you're really left with, honestly, is 2 large and 6 small, because I don't really feel like...
We should clear these infestations before they get out of hand.
I don't really feel like the bonuses play a very significant role. And so my problem with that is that, well, more and more also is essentially 2 large and 6 small. And the reason for that is because while it literally has 2 large and 5 small, it comes with the machine shop, which is basically a level 3 workshop. And unless you are specifically doing a build that doesn't factor in a workshop, then it's essentially a 6th slot, because you get 5 free slots plus that, like, plus the bonus one. And I just think that's a problem. Like, you're basically moving into a base that essentially has the same building space as a 6-man base, and for what? Like, what are you getting? The answer is, like, very little. It's just not that good. I think that's the only way I can describe it, is that the container fort is just not that good. And I know that's gonna disappoint some people, but, like, I don't know. I can't see any other... I just can't like the container fort. Now, there are advantages to the region we're in. Like, Leeds Concrete it's a nice outpost. Since, like, it's basically like getting an extra facility in the form of as an outpost. It's definitely worth it. It's way better than a upgraded material outpost, way cheaper too. Plus, it lets you build your facilities a little faster, which is, you know, like a kind of a minor bonus, but it's still a bonus. But I just don't think that is good enough to, you know, basically, I would still prefer to live in, like, Mayor Valley, where you get a way better base, even though you get a worse landmark outpost. And honestly, I think I would just prefer to stay in More and More, because let's think about More and More. The bonuses you get there include 100 fuel capacity. Now, I'm not going to start singing the praises of 100 fuel capacity. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think 100 fuel capacity is very good. But would I rather have 100 fuel capacity, or would I rather have, like, you know, 8 beds and the Castle Doctrine? Well, I'd rather have the what do you call it? The fuel. Another benefit More and More has is if you're doing a new playthrough, well, it has a fuel generator, and from what I understand, Undead Labs has hotfixed the fuel generators to actually use fuel instead of providing white noise. So, I don't know, it just seems like, More and More just seems like it's strictly better than the container fort. Now, what the container fort's claim to fame... Oh, one thing I'm going to do is, I am going to demote our leader. I was originally going to do the Warlord, but let me tell you, we just finished the Warlord on the Twitch playthrough, and it took 1 hour and 30 minutes to do. And I'm just like, nah, I'm not going to go through that. It took, and it was all because the mission spawns. The missions would not spawn in, even with me, you know, entering and exiting the game. Who can be the leader? Super Poof could be the leader, yes. So we're just gonna go with the trader. Also, I just want to get to the next map so that we can continue like our world tour essentially. But that's what I feel about the container fort. I think the container fort isn't good enough. And I think the answer is that it just doesn't have enough large facilities. Let's say you gave it 7 small facilities or 8 small facilities. I still don't think it would be. I mean, it would make it better than the. It would certainly be better than more and more, but I don't think it would be like better in like a mind-blowing manner. Like, whoa, man! Like it's crazy how many like small facilities you can build. That's like okay. It's really annoying me that like. If I'm too close, like, it keeps, like, the UI keeps interfering. But yeah, like, honestly, that many large facilities, or that many small facilities, it wouldn't be that big of a benefit. And the reason for it is because you will run out of good small facilities. Like, the good small facilities are, let's look at them real fast. You've got infirmary. Now, if I'm let's talk about it from a Nightmare Zone perspective. You have infirmary, and typically, okay, so like on my Twitch playthrough right now, I'm in Checkpoint Delta on Trumbull Valley. Now, Checkpoint Delta only has 2 slots. And what did I choose? I chose the infirmary, which is up to level 2, and then a gym. And why did I choose the gym? I want the extra health. 20 extra health, and then you also level up your fighting faster. And so, like, these 2 are really good on higher difficulties. On lower difficulties, you probably don't need the gym as early, but... So that's 2 facilities right there. Then you've got your workshop. Now we've got double workshops just because I'm being dopey. Or I'm just like, or not dopey, I'm just trying a new idea out. But it has been confirmed by members of the community that you can equip a salvage furnace and bow. So now you can go to ×5 on salvage furnaces. So these are 2 facilities that you would want. And you got a workshop, that's 3. Then you've got the shooting range, that's 4. Then you've got a still, that's 5. These are the 5, like, really good small facilities. And that's really all you need. You only really need 5. The 6th small facility would be, let's go and just remove this one. So the 6th small facility, if you had one, I would choose the officers' quarters, because it would give you give you some cool bonuses, like a little more morale, stuff like that. But honestly, you don't really, it's definitely a luxury. Like you've seen, even on Lethal Zone, I can reach the 4th tier of morale. Like we can get into this final block right here with just the lounge, like using movie night. Using movie night, we can get into the final tier of morale without the officers' quarters. So the officers' quarters, it's definitely a luxury. And so the other one that you would do, you could also do the latrine. You know, that would, once again, it would be just a morale boost. And it still wouldn't be as good as the officers' quarters. You know, you could build another still and double your production. You know, that's certainly an option. We could do that right there. You could also build a garden or a garden equivalent, like a hydroponics, to get some production going. But, like, at that point, you're really just kind of... Let's do that, actually. I think that's the most logical thing. So we'll build a garden. That would be the most logical thing to build here. But you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point. Because the big 5 important facilities are Red Talon Workshop, or any workshop, a still, infirmary, gym, and shooting range. I'm not even a huge fan of the garden anymore, simply because you can use outposts to, like, neutralize your food. And then, of course, you even have the Super Waifu Cafeteria Squad knocking your food consumption down. So my point is that the fact that this has 6 small facilities, it's kind of overkill. I kind of don't need it to be complete. I'm just gonna get some guns. Why not? Well, I thought I saw like a body fly over there. So with small facilities, like 5, to me at least, 5 is enough. Like, I'm not saying I would turn down, get the mouse out of the way. I'm not saying I would turn down more facilities, but like I don't need them. They're not like essential. They're not like a really major part of the plan. Do I have swordplay? No, not yet. And that's what an issue there. Like that's one thing I like about more and more, it gives you a pretty concise amount. It gives you just the amount of stuff you need for a mere
Not bad.
6-man 1500 influence. Like, that's a good deal. Whereas for an extra 2 people, like, you got to get the 8 people and you got to spend 3500 influence. I don't think that you're really getting your money's worth. I actually think if I were to organize the bases again, like if I did like Cascade Hills bases ranked, I actually think I would put more and more as the top base.
Hardly worth the effort.
And I think I'd put it as the top base simply because it gives you the same effect of not Mayor Valley. It gives you the same effect of the container fort, the same value, but at the same time, it's easier to move into. It's cheaper and faster. It's cheaper and faster. And the yeah, I mean that's just how I see I just don't think the container fort is really.
That is damn heavy.
It's not the big deal. Like, you know, I liked it a lot more in the past, and the base was known, kind of had a reputation for being awesome, for being self-sustainable. And, you know, like, maybe that's another reason. Like, maybe the ability to upgrade outposts have made the base less valuable. But I don't know. I think your base has got to have more than 2 large facilities to really be a really high-level base. And I think that's honestly, I think that's just the issue with WoW. We looted everything in here, and there's still I mean, I guess these gun stores always are chock full of good stuff. Come on, where's the last lootable at? But that's what I think. So to wrap it up there, I just don't. I mean, like the container fort, it's not bad, but I don't really think it's worth 2 extra people and 2,000 more influence than more and more. That's the way I see it. Now, what about Cascade Hills in general? Overall, I think Cascade Hills stinks. I think the bases really stink. There's really only 3 bases that are good. And those bases would be really only 2 bases that are good. And that would be more and more. More and more could basically be your endgame base. And then you also have the church. Because the church is capable of infinite influence generation due to basically it's kind of like a mini Whitney Field. The thing though is that like the church, it only has 1 large facility, so like yes you can farm influence, but you know like you're really going to be stifled on to other things that you can farm. You know, you're going to be stifled on how much materials you can farm, because, you know, you won't be able to do trade depot plus forge. You won't be able to, like, farm EXP because, you know, you're not going to be able to do, like, trade depot plus lounge. You're always going to have to pick. You're going to have to pick between...
Worth a damn in this place.
You're actually, really, what you're going to be boxed into is kind of the trade depot. Because, like, what are you going to do with all that extra influence? You're going to want to spend it. But without the trade depot, you're probably not going to be able to spend it all that effectively. And so that's just kind of what you're boxed into. And, like, sure, you could swap out your stuff. You could switch from the trade depot to the lounge and then level your guys up and whatnot. But it's like, I don't know. I just think that's a real pain. I just wouldn't want to do that. And that's why, I mean... Sure, it's technically very strong because of infinite influence farm, but I mean, like, if that's what you want, if you want infinite influence farm, wouldn't you rather just start on... Wouldn't you just prefer to start on Mayor Valley and just go to Whitney Field? Because, like, yeah, sure, you wouldn't earn as much money, but you could go to Camp Kellenquaw and set up a trade depot and a lounge and start leveling up your community, beefing up your community, and then jump into Whitney Field and farm infinite influence from there. I just think, I don't know, to me that just seems like a way better idea. Oh, let's get some books.
I believe some thank yous are in order.
So basically, a lot of the bases, they kind of stink. Like, the 1 large facility bases, that's just not good enough. I don't want, the only base I want that has 1 large facility is the 4-man base. So, you know, like, the bridge fort is okay. It's not bad. But, like, the corner office, that base stinks. The, lock and key, that base stinks. And, like, sure, you've got the church. The church has infinite influence farm. It's not a fun base, though. Because you're just really stifled on your construction options. And so your first, like, real base is honestly more and more. And there's nothing wrong with more and more. I enjoyed it. I liked more and more. It was a fine base. But then, like, you know, what's kind of a letdown is that you don't have anything to look forwards to after that. Like, more and more is basically like the Squallone's Brewery of the map, like the warehouse-style map. And, but the thing is, although Squallone's Brewery is cool because it has the double stills, but, like, you know, you don't have anything, you do have something to look forward after. You have Whitney Field, but with more and more, you don't have anything else to look forwards to. And, Leeds Concrete, it's cool. Like, I'm not gonna bash Leeds Concrete, but, like, I think I would just rather live on a better map than have Leeds Concrete. And, like, the main landmarks that I think are bad are Mare Valley. Mare Valley's landmark is really not great. Like, you know, maybe you would use it. Well, you would only use it if you didn't have electricity. And even then, like, you could probably work around electricity.
That shit's gonna slow me down.
Oh, wow, this thing was really cluttered up. I didn't think it would have so much stuff in it. But it's like, I just don't think Leeds Concrete on its own is really gonna, like, you know, sell you on it. Because it's like, in the end, yes, it's very convenient to neutralize your material losses, but if you've got, like, a healthy community going, you're going to be able to neutralize material losses in other ways. Like, you're going to be able to build up outposts and upgrade them, or you're just going to be able to, like, buy the materials. And if that's the price I have to pay to live on a better map, well, you know, I guess I'm just going to, like, choose to live on a better map. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, I mean, the funny thing is, I might, maybe, this might be crazy, I know, because, like, I've never been a fan of Drucker County, but I'm going to be honest, like, Drucker County might actually get a better rating than Cascade Hills, in spite of its bad terrain, simply because the bases, I predict the bases are just going to be more enjoyable. Because I know that Drucker County has a more and more equivalent type of, like, you know, like a warehouse equivalent base. I don't remember how the other bases are, and then I do remember that the barricaded strip mall is pretty good. So, like, I don't know. Like, it just doesn't look good for Cascade Hills. So what should Undead Labs do? Honestly,
That's a lot of shit.
I think the problem is the theme of Cascade Hills. So the theme of Cascade Hills is that large facilities are in short supply,
Free zone here.
but small facilities are in great supply. I'm like, okay, that's kind of an interesting idea, but it also kind of just blows. I can't think of any other way to say it. It blows. It stinks. Like, it's not. It's unique, but, like, unique doesn't necessarily mean good. Like, unique can also just be bad, and I think that's honestly how I feel about Cascade Hills. And yeah, sure, if you just if you rebalanced the facilities in Cascade Hills in a way where they were more large, yes, they would be more, like, congruent with everything else, and maybe you'd say, well, that would make it less unique. But I guess the question is, like, what's more important? Is it more important that Cascade Hills is unique, but kind of bad? Or not kind of, just bad? Or would it be better if the map had bases that are a little more generic, but are serviceable and enjoyable to use? Like, apparently on the Reddit, there's a guy who's working on a mod to bring more facility slots. Oh, that was enough to get Yoga. That's pretty neat. I guess we'll play as the other character. Maybe I don't think we'll get her leveled up in time, but and it doesn't even matter. We're right at the end of the game, but it's an objective. I'll do it. It's not that big of a deal. The bar, I guess, and who did we demote? FIFA. Too bad there's no play guards for her to smash. That would be a pretty good way to do it.
I was on a supply run with this one fool. He snuck up on a horde saying then I'll just pretend I'm a zombie. Trust me, zombies don't give a shit about your improv skills.
What if they did? What if you could, like, pretend to be a zombie? And it would fool them? I'm guessing that's a reference to, like, a zombie show. Like, I'm guessing that's, like, a joke to, like, a movie. Like, I haven't seen a whole... Like, the main zombie movies I've seen are the old George Romero movies, like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Dead, Day of the Dead, etc. Out of all of those, I'd say I probably liked... I liked the Day of the Dead, actually. Day of the Dead was, like... It was the most serious out of all of them. I mean, not to say the others weren't serious, but... I don't know. Day of the Dead clicked with me. It was like, I liked the tense atmosphere. Although the kind of like intelligent zombie that uses a gun was kind of odd. I won't lie about that. That was kind of like a little bit of a head scratcher. Let's go see what our allies have over here. But yeah, like so far, you know, like my feeling is that Cascade Hills is the worst map in State of Decay. It's possible. I mean, we'll have to see what I think. Obviously, it's not Mare Valley. It's not going to be Providence Ridge. It's not going to be Trumbull Valley. Wow, this place has so much barriers. Like, the worst map... and the thing is, I predict that it's not going to be Drucker County. Just because, like, yes, the driving in Drucker County sucks. But if the bases are decent... And I know that the, I know the landmark outpost is solid. So there is a good chance that I'm going to give it to Cascade Hills. And it's okay if you like Cascade Hills. I do want to point that out. There's nothing wrong with liking a, you know, one of the, like, less optimal things. And the reason it's not wrong is because, well, let's be honest, like, the game is not... It's challenging, don't get me wrong. Like, Lethal Zone is not easy, but it's not so hard. Like, okay, you can beat Lethal Zone from the starting base. You could just stay in the starter house, especially if you do the Trader's Legacy, because the Trader's Legacy won't ask you to build a large facility. So, yeah, you could... It doesn't ask you to build any facilities, actually. You could absolutely just beat the game from there. And so that would show you right there that, you know, if the starting house is sufficiently good, then, like, yeah, obviously, like, any base is going to be an upgrade on the starting home. So, sure, like, you know, you can like any of the bases or you can like any map and any base you want, because even on the highest difficulty, you can definitely, and it's not like even like a challenge thing. Like, some people say, oh, wouldn't that be a challenge to survive from not really. Like, if you have a solid understanding of how to play State of Decay, it wouldn't even be that challenging, because what would you lose? You would lose a large facilities, meaning you would lose essentially 2 facilities. You'd lose the trade depot, you'd lose the lounge. Well, I mean, you can still level your characters up manually. You don't need the lounge. The lounge just makes it more enjoyable. You don't need the trade depot. Like, you can buy and sell from your allies. The trade depot just ensures that it's smoother, it's faster, it's more enjoyable. It's just a more interactive way to play the game. But, like, you don't need them. You absolutely could just play the game on its own. You know, like, without any of those. So, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with liking the bases and the maps that are less popular. But obviously, like, you know, if our goal is to rate the bases and the maps based on how good they are, and the metric we would use for determining how good something is would be how likely is this base to give you success, especially if you're still learning to play the game. And so you don't have a firm grasp of the concepts, meaning the power of the base could very well be a factor in whether you succeed or lose. Or if you're just looking for, I want to start a forever community and I want to make sure I'm in a, you know, if I'm going to invest in a base and settle down, I want to make sure I'm settling down in like a top tier base. Well, you know, that's the metric by which we would organize these.
Bingo.
And yeah, in the end, that means someone has to be the base. If we have a list, you know, not every base can be the winner. Like, someone's got to be the winner, someone's got to be the loser. Like, I like to use the term Metal Gear. Like, people who play Metal Gear will all tell you that all of the Metal Gear Solid games are great. Like, none of them are bad. But the thing is, you can still rank them, and that means out of the good ones, so one of them is still going to be the worst of the best, so to speak. And, you know, for me, that'd be Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, I still enjoyed it. I would absolutely play Metal Gear Solid 2 again, but, like, it just wasn't as good as the others. That doesn't mean it's bad, and, you know, it might sound bad to say it's the worst of the best, but it's still a fantastic game, and that's how it is. Like, some of these bases could still be good. They could still be, like, serviceable. But, you know, someone's got to be the worst. And so far, it's Cascade Hills. That's the worst map. And the bases here, they just kind of stink. That's what I think, overall. So, anyways, next episode, we are going to be doing the Trader's Legacy. If you really want to see me do other legacies, like if that's something you really, really want to see, tell me down in the comment section. I just want to do the Trader's Legacy for brevity. But because it's fast, it's fast and efficient. Because like I said, oh my god, the war, it took I did 2 hours in. 2 hours into the stream, we were starting the Legacy, and then I finished it 3 hours and 30 minutes into the stream. So, yeah, like an hour and a half, and we were finally done with the Warlord's Legacy. Simply because the quests don't pop up. I think that's a big problem that Undead Labs needs to fix. They've done some things to make it better, but it's not fun waiting for quests to progress. Anyways, let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you are a Cascade Hills enjoyer, let me know. If you are a Container Fort enjoyer, let me know. And let me know what you think about the analysis. Do you think I was too hard? Or do you think that, you know, like, oh, you know, kind of hard, but fair? You know, maybe there's a benefit to the base that you that I missed. I know there's a penalty to the base. For some reason, people love to go outside the walls of the base and have a high chance of getting themselves killed if you don't intervene or escape the base. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Like the video if it was entertaining. Subscribe for future State of Decay 2 content. Of course, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.